Welcome, welcome, and welcome. This is Doc Hertz, God Vision Ministry, and I want to thank you for joining me today. And I would like for you to go to my pages on Facebook and find out where it says Housing Reparations and go to that page and you'll be able to see this. I'm just doing this today on this broadcast, but it will be on my YouTube channel pages, and it'll also be on my page concerning reparations. And so it won't be on this channel long, because this channel deals with the church, the ministry, and the spiritual aspect of God's Vision Ministry. And also it's still a major part of my life. But what I want you to know is that we want to deal with a subject that is going on, especially this particular time of year, that's concerning, how would I say, it has to do with the election. It has to do with the election, the Constitution, and your rights. And I want to introduce to many of you who've never seen before a copy of the book that I've written a few years ago. And the book is called Black America, Descendants of Slavery. And this is just a picture of USA made in America, but it's called Black America, Descendants of Slavery. And I'll give you a little preview of what the cover of the book looks like. And this is a cover of the book. It's a very beautiful picture done by Brother Broderick McGinnis. He's an artist in the city of Alexandria, and he's done some wonderful artwork throughout the city, and he's well known for that. But the name of the book is Black American Descendants of Slavery. And what it deals with, it says housing reparations, meaning that in America, Africans were brought to this country and were put in a form of chattel slavery for years. And by being put in a chattel slavery, they were deprived of many rights. They were deprived of many necessities of life. And so therefore, anytime the law states that you have taken advantage of someone or used them, or even if you made a mistake, you must make a form of restitution. So when slavery time came and was abolished, there was a edict that was given out, or a law that was passed in some forms of the United States, some of the states, saying that what black people were deserving for being unjustly held in bondage and slavery. And so therefore they were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. Now this may seem kind of strange, because they were actually, children were taken, some of their lives were taken, and their lives were taken, not just for a year, but for over 100 years. And so therefore, why would you compensate them with a mule and land? Because land was so important, because you had to live off of the land. And also, a land is very essential in anybody's or any person's development and their wealth. Now, what I want to talk to you about is, I spent 8 years as a real estate broker, learning about land, learning about property. I minored in been to college, and I've studied Black history and events, and all of the things and the laws that I realized, and also by being a veteran, understanding through the Veteran Administration, and also understanding banking and banking laws and loans and how all these things phase out. I realized that, along with many of the great scholars, that most of you have no idea who these people are, from California to New York City to Florida. There have been a lot, even Martin Luther King touched on it a bit about reparations, but many have never studied the subject matter, and it's coming now heretofore. So therefore, understanding that, why do I feel that housing reparations is so necessary? Not saying that money is not, I guess, a conduit, but you need something also with the stabilization, and that is when you come to a country, especially America, it's all been stated and said that the American dream. And at one time there was a little slogan saying, hey, there's nothing more American dream than an American apple pie and a Chevrolet and all this. But to be a homeowner, to own property, to own land. And with ownership of property, you have a vested interest. You have an estate to hand down to your children, to many generations, that people would have a place or a sanctuary to live. So with that being said, understanding the laws, that there is a remedy in housing reparations and how it should be done. I spent over 188 pages talking about it, going through it, and also dealing with the laws, Brown versus Education in 1954 in the 4th chapter, also dealing with the 14th Amendment, also dealing with slavery from the aspect of the Bible. So understanding that Joseph, amen, was sold into slavery. Understand that slavery has been around for centuries. And so understanding how that fits in to the reparation parts and what you have a right to. If you don't know, when you realize and study the laws and see how through what they call redlining and different things that was imposed upon black people that don't even know about it, even to this day, that you have a right to reparations. For instance, let me share this. Just imagine you're walking down the street and minding your own business, and all of a sudden an accident happening, something happened to you. Or maybe say you was in a car accident and you in a car accident and you got hurt or whatever, and you say, well, hey, I feel like I'm fine, I'm okay, and you continue to go on, and then someone's coming and says, hey, look, you need to go check it because maybe there are underlying things that haven't showed up yet. That's why even on certain lawsuits you have time to apply. And then you say, well, I feel like I'm okay. And then someone comes along and say, well, look, I feel a little pain, and you go, you get it checked out and realize, sure enough, you have an underlying condition that you didn't know about at first. And then you say, hey, all of a sudden you can't move like you used to. And so therefore you go, you file a lawsuit and you get paid. And some people may say, hey, yeah, I feel a little pain, but you know what? I don't feel I'm hurt. I don't want to I'll just go on. Now, I'll say this. I worked on some jobs that I've gotten hurt before, and I had a settlement for my injuries. Also, later on in my life, I fell in a company and hit my head, and I hurt my neck. I was bleeding all over the place, and I decided, even though I had been hurt, I'm talking about, matter of fact, I probably was hurt more than I had been in the past, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go through a lawsuit. I'm going to continue to work. So with that being said, when it comes to reparation, this isn't something you need to fuss about or argue about. If someone feels like, hey, look, I don't deserve it, I don't think I want to do it, okay, well, you don't have to. But for those of you who don't know, you may be entitled to something that you need to check into. And that was the whole purpose of me writing the book, putting it together. And so therefore, I think it's essential that as a black person, you realize that you are entitled to reparations. But you got to know it. You got to study. You got to seek, and you got to seek it. And so therefore, it's a book that I put forth to make the public aware, to make you aware of what you have a right to in this country from part of what you have suffered. Believe it or not, what you suffered through through slavery, and so therefore I want you to give you the little give you the little address where you can. If you want the book is $25. And here is, you can take a picture of this on your iPhone, and you can send your address, and you'll get the book. I'll send it to you, and I know you're going to enjoy it. And it's a wealth of knowledge and information put together that you can read it and understand what you're entitled to. Many of you may be finding a hard time even purchasing a home, but when you have a understanding of a property and land and what you need to, even as a home owner, to suffice part of the reparations that you're entitled to. But if you don't have the knowledge, you won't be able to understand what it's all about, and you won't understand what's even happened over time. You may be wondering, well, why is it hard for me to get a house? Some of you may not even understand the facts of just even where you live has to do with your credit score, your credit rating, why you need credit, how you came into the housing market. Are you in the housing market? And all the other things that you deal with. But those are essential things in our life, is where we live, how we transport from place to place, and also what we have to, the finances we need in life to survive. And one of the key components is owning a home, owning property, owning land. So with that, I'll be going into further talking about the book, but it'll be on the YouTube channel, and also it'll be on my Reparations page. You'll find it on Facebook, and go there and you can see. Matter of fact, on the Reparation page, I've got many people who've talked about reparations on there. Some great people who are scholars all across the country. Most of you don't know them, maybe you never heard of them, but you would be Dr. Claude Anderson, I believe, and other doctors, writers. There's lawyers out of California that deals with reparation. There's so many people all across the United States who've been doing this work for years, believe it or not. So with that being said, I'm going to sign out, but I want you to understand that you can get your book today. Just write us or call us. It's Black American Descendants of Slavery, Reparation and Housing, Dr. Emil Hurst. In this book you will enjoy, and I'll be talking a little bit more about it in the different chapters as I go through it and read with you, those of you who will subscribe and be a part of it, so that you can really understand the reparations and how it affects your life, how it affects your children and your grandchildren. God has made us wise master builders. And so therefore, we exercise our faith through our life, of what we do and what we believe in and what we stand on. So with that, I'll be signing off. And once again, I want to thank you. Welcome, and welcome. This is Doc Hurts, God Vision Ministry, and I want to thank you for joining me today. And I would like for you to go to my pages on Facebook and find out where it says Housing Reparations, and go to that page and you'll be able to see this. I'm just doing this today on this broadcast, but it will be on my YouTube channel pages, and it'll also be on my page concerning reparations. And so it won't be on this channel long, because this channel deals with the church, the ministry, and the spiritual aspect of God's Vision Ministry. And also it's still a major part of my life. But what I want you to know is that we want to deal with a subject that is going on, especially this particular time of year, that's concerning, how would I say, it has to do with the election. It has to do with the, election, the Constitution, and your rights. And I want to introduce to many of you who've never seen before a copy of the book that I've written a few years ago. And the book is called Black America, Descendants of Slavery. And this is just a picture of USA made in America, but it's called Black America, Descendants of Slavery.
Oh, nothing, man.
And I'll give you a preview of what the cover of the book looks like. And this is the cover of the book.
You was
It's a very
sleeping?
beautiful picture done by Brother Broderick McGinnis. He's an artist from the city of Alexandria. He's done some wonderful artwork throughout the city. And he's well known for that.
Yelling and storytelling.
Black American Descendants of Slavery. And what it deals with, it deals with, it says housing reparations. Meaning that in America,
everything is okay now.
Africans were brought to this country.
Tampa Bay let go of the linebacker. The Eagles got him, so I said, okay, good.
They let go of
by
him.
being put in a
They didn't give him another contract.
they were deprived of many rights. They were deprived of,
why would Tampa Bay do that?
necessities of life. And so therefore,
he had a lower tackle rate than he did the years before. He normally had about 100 tackles. This year he had about 85 tackles.
Even if you made a mistake,
Wait a minute.
you must make a form of
How many tackles he had in 1 year?
So when
85?
slavery time came and was abolished,
85 tackles, and they let him go.
That was given out, or a law
I know this is what he does.
Some forms
He's
of the
good,
United States, some
but
of the
what he
states,
does,
saying
especially
that
last year, they was having problems with him. He didn't really want to play. He wanted to be on the Eagles the year before that, but they didn't. I don't know what happened, but either how he didn't trade for him. Long story short, this year when he was playing, it was like he just what's that word I'm gonna say? He didn't show effort anymore.
Sandbag.
Yeah. He can make tackles, but man, he just starts quitting, man.
In other words, he just started conserving himself where he wasn't going to go out there and get hurt.
Yeah, and it was obvious. That's why he started getting benched and stuff. It was really weird.
Yeah, sandbag.
Really weird.
Yeah, that's what they call it, sandbag. Yeah. Oh, well, then they knew what time it was.
Yeah, he packed it in, boy. I said, man.
Well, obviously he might have wanted an extension or something.
Yeah, he probably did.
But Tampa Bay, who did they have with them last year?
They had Baker Mayfield, they had Mike Evans, a couple other guys.
Okay, so they traded for the old boy.
Just gave him up, man. So, I don't know what that's about, but I'm happy he's with the Eagles. That should be awesome. So the Eagles are, to me, they only need one more position to maybe address. I think that's gonna be one more, either linebacker or maybe one more. Excuse me.